What is going on? Howdy. So I just wanted to pop in. I have a little quick project that I wanted to work on, and I figured I might as well film it, just to kind of document some of the stuff I'm doing. So I have a custom built PC. It's the NZXT H1 with an i7 9700K, the MSI 2080 Super, and then some G-Skill RAM. And then the case, if you're not familiar with it, the case comes with a power supply and the all-in-one liquid cooler like built in. So like it was basically just a whole package. Everything was kind of like just that part was is all tailored specifically for that case because the case is really small. I'll put a picture of it up, and so either way, everything's just all kind of tailored to that. But the problem that I'm having, so I built this computer. I guess I would have probably done it in about March or April of 2020. So I've only had it for about a year. But the issue that I'm running into is, and it could just be from some of the gaming that I've been doing, and then doing this YouTube stuff. I have to edit, and I have to render things out, and then export it, and that takes up a lot of processing power. But I've been running into an issue where the temperatures on my computer are getting pinned at 90 degrees Celsius while I'm gaming. And then even sometimes just like in menus on stuff, I'm getting like super high temps, and it's just higher than what it was whenever I first built the computer. So what I'm thinking hopefully is I can take the computer apart, disconnect the water block, and reapply thermal paste, clean it up, just check it, make sure everything looks good on there, reapply thermal paste, and and just check the temps from there. So what I kind of plan on doing is I'm going to run, I think I either have Geekbench or I have Cinebench. I might have both, but I'm going to run some benchmarks on it with how it is now, and then I'm going to film, me just kind of dissecting the PC a little bit, and reapplying that thermal paste, and then I'll run the benchmarks again, and hopefully, fingers crossed that this works. If this doesn't work, then I will probably end up having to, move to a bigger case. That's kind of that was initially what I was going to do. Is I was just going to straight up just buy a new case, buy a slightly bigger radiator, and just, kind of start fresh. But I figured I would do this first. This is a free thing that I can do first. And my buddy Rick, or Coach Rick, in the Debt Free Mafia, he would probably prefer me to do the free thing first before I go and spend $300 on a new case and a new water cooler. So anyways, I'm going to try that out. And then if I've also been kind of thinking about painting the case, not like anything crazy. It's just black. So I was thinking about, just painting it a different color. So I might do that. We'll see. We'll kind of just see how that goes. Okay. So I have done my benchmarking pre-thermal paste replacement. And this is my main computer. This is where I do all my video editing. This is where I do all my recording, my regular work for my job if I'm working from home. So this is a pretty important piece of the puzzle. So what I plan on doing is the computer does have, or the case does have, fan filters on both sides. So I'm going to take those off. I'm going to clean them out with this, and from there I will, use my iFixit kit, which if you don't have one of these, like I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. I know a lot of people are, but if you don't have one of these, this is like a great piece to have in your collection. I use this thing for all kinds of stuff. I use it all the time. I probably use it, 3 or 4 times a week just for random things that it's got all the bits in it, but I digress. But it's really important to have, and really nice to have. So I'm going to use that to kind of take apart some of the pieces on the case. And then I have some extra thermal paste. The only thing I need to grab is I'll need to grab some alcohol swabs to clean off the old thermal paste, and then we'll reapply the new one and go from there. But if you haven't seen this case before, so it is a little bit mired in controversy, at least whenever it first launched. I got this whenever it first launched. It had an issue with the PCI Express cable. That connects it from that connects the motherboard to the graphics card, because basically if you pop these panels off, let's see, this is a glass panel, so hopefully I can get this off nicely. But you've got, which I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but you've got, this is your motherboard, and then this is the water cooler right here, and then there's a ribbon cable that goes to the graphics card. So there was an issue. I don't remember how like widespread the issue was, but potentially, you know, it could catch on fire because of an issue with some of the pinning, or I don't know if it's the pinning, but it was somehow with the 12-volt ground, it was it could cause a fire. So, but I have the replacement cable on here, so I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I mean, the only other thing I don't like about this case is with the ITX board. Oh yeah, there's a lot of dust flying up. With the ITX board, the ports are all on the bottom. So if you have to add, like, you pretty much need to have everything plugged in before you actually, you know, before you set the computer where it needs to go. So that's the only thing I don't like. But you know, once you kind of set it and you forget it, it's a great case. But yeah, so I'm gonna you know, blow it out. I'm gonna take the fan filters, blow it out, and then we'll probably switch to a different view, and we'll you know, get that thermal paste replaced. Okay, so I got the computer blown out with the duster. Basically, I ended up taking the filters and the computer outside to blow it out, just because there was so much dust that, you know, it was just gonna make a mess inside. Whenever you've got a dog that sheds as much as Headfield does, you know, that's something to expect. So anyways, so like I said, you know, I'm gonna use the iFixit kit, and we'll take this off, take this piece off right here. And then actually, we can use the tray of the iFixit kit. So this thing's pretty cool, this case. So you take those two screws off, and then this actually just flips up, and boom, that's where the magic happens. So, you know, you've got your two water pipes, your inlets and outlets that, you know, go out, and you can actually see there's actually still a little bit of dust on the fan. I hadn't opened this up yet, so I'll probably need to clean that out. But this case, like I said, it's kind of compact, it's cramped. So I believe what I would normally do is, this is actually the USB-C header on the motherboard, or for it's the cable that goes from the front I/O header to the motherboard, you know, and passes that data back and forth. But so yeah, we'll go ahead and unplug that. This thing is super tight. It's a tight fit. Like it was just a bad design on, you know, if this cable was, you know, 3 or 4 inches longer, or actually, honestly, if it was just like an inch or two longer, that would be ideal. But I digress. So, and I'm actually gonna unplug. This is the fan header, or this is the fan cable. So you've got the fan for the all-in-one liquid cooler, and you know, it's going into the fan header on the motherboard. So I'm gonna go ahead and just unplug that, move that out of the way. And you know, normally, you know, you'll have people kind of talk about electrostatic discharge on this. I haven't really had an issue with that. I mean, you know, that's super anecdotal, but I haven't had an issue with it, so I haven't really. Usually what I do is, if I'm gonna be working on the computer, if I'm gonna touch any of the actual components, you know, I'll stand still and I'll like ground myself, you know, I'll touch the metal parts of the case, and that seems to be good enough. So like I said, I'm not gonna worry about it too much, but what we'll do is we'll unscrew these in a crisscross pattern, and then I've got the isopropyl alcohol wipes, and we'll just clean off that, clean off the thermal paste that's there, reapply thermal paste, and you know, we'll just go from there. Okay, and with that, I've gotten all 4 screws loosened just a little bit, and then now I'll just fully, you know, get all of them undone. All right, so I got all the screws undone. I didn't realize that I had attached a zip tie, if it'll focus in on that. I had attached a zip tie to one of these hoses, so I had to, you know, undo that. But now we should be able to take the block off and just see what we're working with. So there. And I believe this was a pre-applied thermal paste that just came on the cooler. So we'll set that off to the side, and then we've got our actual
thermal paste on the processor as well. So like I said, I'm just going to use an isopropyl. This is 70%. I think I might have some 90%, but I think this will be fine. Oop, just ding that. So basically what we're doing is we're just going to kind of just clean this up, just try to get all the grease or the thermal paste off, and just kind of get this as kind of back to factory as we can. Okay, and then I'll use a brand new one for the block itself. And I don't think there's a right or wrong way to clean this off, doing it in circles, doing it up and down. I think the main thing is you don't want to leave your fingerprints on it. So if you do accidentally touch this, definitely try to get that cleaned off one way or another. So that looks pretty okay. And then we'll just let that dry for a second. And let's see, it looks like might just be a little spot right there, but otherwise we are good to go. Okay, so I've zoomed in a little bit, not zoomed in, I've actually just moved the camera a little bit closer, just so we can kind of get a little bit more of a feel of what we're working with. So like I said, I subscribe to the pea-sized dot method of the thermal paste. So with that, you just stick it right in the middle, give it a little bit of a squeeze. There we go. And some people do, I think the other method is like an X. So you do an X from, or you do a line from all four corners just to the middle. And I think it's kind of just like whatever you feel most comfortable with. As far as I know, there's not necessarily a right or wrong way. I think, you'll have people that say one way is right and one way is wrong, but if your temperatures are okay, then I think, you're fine. So the main thing, even though you can't see it, you always got to make sure that you're, in this case you can't see it, but if you're using a different case, you always got to make sure that your logo is, up and down, or, it's in the right orientation, or else you're just going to get made fun of on the internet. So with this, just give it some, you just place it down, you put the screws in. So like I said, you just do, like I said, whenever I unscrewed it, you will do a crisscross pattern on this as well. So you're just kind of getting it finger tight. And then, I don't know why I did it, but it looks like I put two washers on. I put two washers down, but didn't put all four. Either I didn't have all four, or maybe I lost them. So I'm gonna put these two back. Like I said, this case is a little smaller, so I mean, your hands, you gotta try to have some nimble hands. Alright, so all those are finger tight, and then like I said, I'll use the iFixit screwdriver and we'll finish it off. So I'll go back to where I started, which is right here. Get that just, tight with the screwdriver, not like, not having to crank down on it. Okay, so everything's tight. So now what you can do, you can go back and just verify that everything is pretty good. It's about as, like I said, you don't have to crank on it, but you just give it a final couple turns, just to, like I said, make sure that everything is on there. And you're doing the crisscross pattern because whenever you have that thermal paste on there, you want the even pressure, that way whenever the thermal paste, whenever the block hits it, it just spreads real evenly. So I think I already did this one, yeah. Okay, so that looks to be pretty good. I'm gonna move the camera back to its original position, and we'll kind of wrap things up. All right, so I got this tube kind of repositioned. I didn't have another zip tie, I just used a twist tie. Kind of got that buttoned back up. If you can see right here, I do have some extra fan cables. That's for those 3 Noctua fans. I might be able to show it to you real quick. Let's see. So I've got 3 Noctua fans right there. I don't remember exactly how they're configured, but in terms of like temperatures and like when they ramp up and things like that, but just a little bit more airflow since I have that extra space on the side. And yeah, I'm gonna move that. Oh, I need to plug this back in. That would not be good if I couldn't use my USB-C. So like I said, this one kind of sucks to plug in. I think what I really should have done is probably like returned this motherboard and bought a different motherboard, because some of the other motherboards actually had the header kind of up here, or you know, maybe over here, and that would have been a lot easier. This one's just like splayed across, you know, hindering some airflow a little bit. And like I said, it's a tight fit. So yeah, it's got a lot of tension on that. I always figure at some point it's probably gonna break, but it hasn't broken yet. So we'll just keep rolling with it. But the big thing whenever you close this case up is you want the tubes on, you know, the left and the right side, just to kind of, you know, have as much airflow or just open air right here as you can, you know, because it's so, like I said, it's so cramped that you need any help you can get. So, and that sticker's coming off. Oh, dummy, I didn't plug this back in. That would have been bad too. Let me verify where it goes. Okay, I guess it only goes in one spot. All right, now we can close it up. I don't remember exactly how I had this guy going. I don't know if I had it going up here or down here, but I'll just kind of wing it. You don't really want to force it just because you got these tubes, so you don't want them to, like, you know, get bent. It does, I mean, well, it actually went down a lot. That actually, you know, closed up a lot easier than I thought it would. But from there, you just put the screws in on this guy. And that's pretty much it. So now that I've got this done, I'm gonna put the panels back on and then go rerun some of the benchmarks and just see if this made a difference. Hopefully it did. Otherwise, you know, I'm gonna keep using it for a little bit, but you know, I'll have to replace it at some point, just because, you know, I don't want to burn up the processor. You know, those aren't cheap necessarily.
All right, we're back. So benchmarks are done. Full disclosure, I did reapply the thermal paste again. I ran a shortcut export of a 4K video, and I actually got a worse time than the first time I did it. So you know, the temps were a little bit higher, so I just for safety, I just went ahead and reapplied the thermal paste. Basically the exact same steps. I don't know what the deal was. I mean, it could have been something dumb like that thermal paste that I had is old. You know, I've used it a couple times, so maybe there was like dried bits in it or something like that on that first application. But the second one, it seemed fine. So I'll swap over to the screen and we can take a look at the scores. Down here on line 24, you can actually see, you know, the ones that are from Sunday. Today is Wednesday. I did some benchmarks on Sunday, and then some on Monday, and then some yesterday. I haven't done any today. I'm just, you know, basically finishing up. So in terms of scores, none of the scores that I got matched or beat what I got in November of 2020. So that could be for a variety of reasons. That could be just me bogging down the computer with programs. That could be Windows updates, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So they're really just there just to see what I had initially. But the December 2021 pre-thermal paste numbers are the more important to me. So we can start with Cinebench. I ran each test 3 times. The only one I didn't run 3 times was the 4K video export. But the Cinebench R23 with the multi-core, I got 8574, 8579, and 8462, so pretty close. after I did that thermal paste application, I got an 89.29, an 89.11, and an 89.10. So those were really close, and they're 400, 500 points better than the original. So that's not the case across all of these benchmarks, but that's a big one. On the Geekbench, I got on the single core, I got 1299, 1307, 1309, and on the post thermal paste replacement, I got a 1259, 1244, and then a 1235. So like those are just straight up worse. I'm not exactly sure what happened on that. And then on the multi-core, I got 7354, 7383, and 7387. So same thing. So Geekbench just overall was lower whenever I, did the tests again. On 3D Mark, though, on the CPU one, I did a graphics one just to do it. I don't really think that really makes a difference, but regardless. On the 3D Mark, I only did those twice. I think I just a second ago said that I did everything 3 times. I'm so inconsistent on some of this stuff. I think I only did the 3D Mark twice because that test takes a long time if you run it. It takes probably 10 or 15 minutes, kind of just depending on it just takes a bit. So I got a 7380 and a 7245, and then I got a 7726, 7478, and a 7528. So on at least 2 benchmarks, I have higher scores overall. And then, like I said, we can just bypass. You can see the graphics card numbers, but they don't really matter that much. I didn't do anything to the graphics card, really. It didn't even unplug anything like that. On the max CPU temp, I think this is a little bit not 100% accurate because I think I misread the graph. So, I put 84 and 83, and then on here I put 93 and 94. I think the original is probably pretty close to that number, but the good thing about this is I'm not getting 100 degrees on some of this stuff, so that's a lot better. But the big one, like I said, I've been doing a lot of exporting with Shotcut. I've been doing all my editing through Shotcut. So whenever I'm actually exporting a video, that's like that's a big chunk of time. So I exported a 5-minute and 52-second video. The same video twice, and pre-thermal paste replacement, I got a 12-minute time. The post-thermal paste replacement the first time, I got a 14-minute time. And with that one, whenever it said 14 minutes, that's whenever I was talking about just a second ago that I was like, oh, like something's wrong. So I took it all apart, and then I actually kind of ran, I don't know if I have a picture of it, but I ran like an open air type bench. So after I had taken everything apart, I flipped open the cooler and just let it run open, and I just ran it again on my counter, and that took 9 minutes. So after I saw the 9 minutes, I was like, okay, well, I can put it back on the desk, and we can try it again. And whenever I tried it again, I got a 10-minute time. So we went from 12 minutes down to 10 minutes on the same video. 9 minutes if I have the panels taken off, and then I have the, everything just opened up. So either way, this seemed like a success for the most part. Like I said, the big thing is my video editing. If that is taking a long time, that's just more time on me that I basically just have to sit and wait. I can do stuff like make thumbnails and things like that, but I can't really do anything else. Whenever the computer is exporting a video, if that's using 100% processing power. So if I try to play a game or anything like that, it doesn't work. I guess I could watch YouTube, but that's, it's a pain. So if I can shave off, 2 minutes on every 5 minutes worth of a video, then, that's a lot of time saving whenever everything adds up. So anyways, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. We've been growing pretty steadily, a couple subscribers every week or two. So that's really great. And I think I may have mentioned it, but I will be hopefully filming a case modification where I wanted to change the color of the case, so I'm gonna maybe change it up a little bit. So anyways, until next time, See you later.